What's up, YouTubers, everyone? Welcome back again for another episode here in this series to talk about Impulse. For those who have been waiting patiently, if you've seen on my channel, we had this part 1 series come up. We've gotten good feedback so far. There's loyal people who are subscribers and people who are just finding it, taking advantage to the part 1 of the series. It is a bit lengthy, right? So we spoke about a few things on that part 1. So you haven't checked it out, make sure that you check out part 1 before diving into this next video. Also, if you're going to jump into part 1, I also recommend you to watch these first 3 because prior to jumping into part 1 of this series, you have to do part 1, part 2, part 3. Make sure that you have these guys taken care of right here and then jump into this. That way you're not like, hey, what's going on? What's this, that, and the third? If you are a fan of the Turbo series, there is an upcoming video coming up for that as well. Just make sure that you click on this video and look in the comments. I left a link there for you guys to sign up and get your part 5 out of that. Same thing goes for those who are following the Klaviyo thing. Make sure that you look at the last video here in the comments. You'll see that there's a link there to sign up for the next series. Same thing goes for the SEO part 3. Anyways, let's get started. Let's continue. Where did we leave off? So this is what we had so far. Where we left off was that we just made these menus, the mega menu. We set up these primary menus. We also went ahead and installed the theme. And now what we're going to do is we're going to complete the homepage on this video. So let's begin right away. I don't need to remind you guys to the whole subscribe and like thing. That really does help a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about these top links. So this specific theme has a very interesting method of organizing links. And the reason why I mention this again is because, as you could see in this section here, I recommend businesses make everything that's related to shopping this part right here. So anything that has to do with putting money in your pockets, I strongly recommend you to add those links here. If you're going to add informative links such as About Us, Contact Us, or FAQs, think about the ones that are most in demand, right? What do people really strongly want to learn about your business? And then we kind of like organize this here, okay? So let's get right to it. Let's first go to the back end again and set up these links first, and then we're going to go back to the front end and then program these links. So back here, let's pretend if we're just going from home. Let me just, do one of those. And then from here, what you're going to do is that let's go to online stores on the left, and we're going to go to pages. Make sure that you have those pages typed up, something about a contact us, who we are as, an about us. Make sure that you have that typed up as well. And then the FAQ, we're going to do that in a second. So for the contact us, if you already typed up something for contact us, there's only one thing that you need to do extra. Just make sure that you click on this right here. You say that and make sure that the template, click on this drop down and make sure that it's on page.contact. In other words, that this page is not just a static page. It's using a template from the theme that's called page.contact. Make sure that you have that enabled. Press save and then just back out, and then that's how that is here. For the About Us, you just could leave it as is. Just leave the template suffix as page and then just write something, put some pictures there. Nothing too crazy, right? Or however it is that you see fit. And then finally, I'm going to add one more page. It's going to be called FAQs. Excuse me, FAQs. And by doing this, I'm also going to go ahead and change the template to page.faq. I'm going to use that template there and press save. And then this will make more sense once we actually start diving into the other chapters of, going intensely into the pages for this theme. So again, what are the requirements before we begin on this setup? Make sure that you have a contact us, an about us, and make sure that you have an FAQ. Even if it has information or not, it doesn't matter. Just add it in there and just make sure that it has at least something. So make sure that on pages, you have these pages set up. Great. Now let's go to navigations here on the left. We're going to go to navigations here. And so far we have 2 major menus systems, right? We have the Our Company, which talks about, who we are, contact us, shipping and refund policies, private, all those things, right? And then we have the main menu. The main menu is what we worked on the previous video, and that's what has us set up with all these guys over here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a third one. Let's go over here on the upper right hand corner where it says add menu. And right here, we're going to code name this top menu so that we know what this is. And on top menu, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the links that we mentioned over here, such as about, contact, and FAQ. So that's where I'm going to go here. I'm going to say click on the link, right? So I'm going to click on this dialog, click on the link, click where it says pages, okay? Let me just do that one more time. I don't want to make you guys feel like I'm going too fast here. So I'm inside the add menu. I named the menu top menu, okay? So just do the same. And then here where it says add menu item, you click on this, and then this dialog appears. And then from here, click on where it says link. And then from link, go ahead where it says pages. Click on that, pages. And then we have another drop-down link. It says, all right, so what's going to be the first one? You're going to say about us. But in this case, I called it who we are, right? But, you know, you could rename the label, right? The page is called who we are. But the label, I could call it about us. Meaning by label, what I mean by that is that it's going to be read off as this. But the moment that you click on it, the page is going to be different. It's going to be called who we are because that's the name of the page. So I'm going to name this about us. And I'm going to press add. Okay, so there goes about us right there. Next up, I'm going to click on another one, click on link. Also, again, pages, but this time I'm going to click on contact us. And notice that it copy pasted the name of the page into the label of that link. Label meaning just what it's called, right? And I'll press add there. That's good. Then I'm going to add a third one here. Click on that one more time, link, pages, and now I'm looking for FAQs. Even though FAQs doesn't have anything there, it's okay. I just added that there and press save menu. Don't forget to press save menu, guys, because that's actually very critically important. And then let's back out. Let's back out. Now we have 3 menu systems. We have main menu, our company, and top menu. And this is what we're going to use. We're not done yet. Because if we go back over here, let's see, if I enter regular mode screen, okay, and I press refresh, you notice that that top menu is still not there. What we did was just program the backside first. That's what we did. We programmed the backside. Now we need to tell Shopify, let's go ahead and upgrade and update the front end side. So from here, I'm going to click on online store, or I'm going to click on theme. I'm going to right click on this and open a new tab. Open a new tab to customize. That way I could see the front end and then without losing my space here on the back end. So we have the front end customize theme menu option. Let's go here to the left where it says header. We're going to click on header here on the left. This should seem very familiar because in part 1, we spoke about how we added the logo and such. And you see here that the header has a program navigation called main menu, which is what we see here. But if we scroll down a bit, all right, let's see here, toolbar. I believe this one's it. Let's go ahead and practice it. It could be wrong, right? Let's see what happens. Click on toolbar. I say top menu. There it is. All right, so let's do that again. So once you're in here, okay, guys, once you're in customize menu, click on where it says header and then scroll down. Look for the one that says toolbar. Click on select menu. This, guys, will not work unless you follow my previous step, okay? So remember how we created top menu? You click on top menu, okay? And pay attention to this part here. Notice how those links came up. Press select on the bottom left and then press save on the upper right so that it goes ahead and it saves. And now, my friends, we have upper link menus there. So that's actually working. Let's see. So the only other difference is that there's an Instagram, there's a Facebook, there's a Pinterest, there's some currency converter systems. You know, these guys right here, the way that you activate those is first make sure that if you're in here, go to where it says theme settings, right? And then it takes you to another page of the theme settings. Go to where it says social media. And I mean, on Facebook, Shopify, whatever, you know, any of these fields, just kind of like enter the values. So for this case, I'm just going to do one. I'm just going to do like these guys real quick. I'm just going to use their examples, but you guys know exactly what to do. Make sure that you put this link here according to what your business links are. Is this mandatory? No, it's not mandatory. But the moment that you start adding these in, you'll notice that the icons will start appearing right here, okay? And then people could go ahead and click on them and do that. here's my word of advice, guys. Is this important? Well, it really depends on your business, to be honest with you. I really can't tell you it's a right or wrong answer. But in my personal web development experience, as far as seeing successful businesses grow, sometimes this isn't good. And the reason for it is because, if you're putting marketing into your business and you are bringing people from Instagram, you're bringing people from Facebook or Pinterest, you've already convinced them about your store. You already told them about your business, right? And they're coming from these platforms into your website, okay? Why would you want to take them back? If they're coming from Instagram or Facebook, that's the top of the marketing funnel. You've captured their attention and they came into your website. They're interested in your product. So why would you want to take them away from your store and go back to the top of the sales funnel? That's like walking backwards, in my opinion. But I understand that the controversy towards that is, well, what if people are just coming in word of mouth and they want to see if we have Instagram, Facebook, they want to see if we're credible, right? So that's why people would actually put this, just to kind of give that social authenticity to the business. But it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion, because if they click on this, you just pretty much lost a sale. All right, so I'll leave that up to your disclosure. The next part is if you want to share, you want them to share, that's totally up to you. I scrolled all the way down over here. If you want these check marks, these guys will appear inside of the products. Again, I totally don't believe in it. I feel that it's, getting away from the focus of the users buying from you. So that's why I professionally don't add these up right here, nor do I add a whole bunch of these stuffs. Like, I just leave that alone. Okay, so the other thing, let's see if there's other things here real quick. So theme actions, no. Let's see here. Header, compact style, language selector, show language selector. So you click on this link to go ahead and select those. Currency selectors, you could go ahead and look at this instructions right here as how to go about that. Again, is it important? Well, it's really up to you. So think about it. The theme offers it rather than you getting a third-party application to go about all of this stuff here. But the one thing I would ask you is, if it isn't US based, right? If the majority of your customers are USD, why should you entertain others unless they're putting a lot of money in your pocket? So for example, if your store looks just like this dropdown, right? That must mean, I think, that you guys are getting a lot of business from Japan, a lot of business from India, a lot of business from, if you're getting a lot of business from all these places, then put this. But if your majority of your sales come from USD, there shouldn't be a reason for you to have any of that. That's just my personal opinion. Okay. All right, let's move on. So we have that set up. Let's go ahead and into the banner. So we're talking about section number 1, which in this case is a slideshow. Let's go and talk about that. All right, so let's continue on here. So we have the main slider. As a key practice, if you guys do want to do sliders, I think this is okay. Personally, I feel that sliders is a bit, 2015-ish. It's a bit old school, in my opinion. A lot of these modern websites and bigger businesses and bigger retail brands, they don't do sliders too much. And if they do, it's okay. So there's nothing wrong with sliders. It's just that me, in my personal opinion, I feel that slider component does weigh to some certain extent when it comes to speed. So let's just dive into it and let's just do this, right? So we're going to go right here to where it says slider. And as you could see, these two, that means by default, there's 2 sliders, but you could add more. You could just click on this one and go ahead and add as much as you see fit. Okay, so let's just do the first one. Endless possibilities. We have something written here, bring your brand to life, and an optional button. As of right now, let's just go ahead and delete this so that we could concentrate on the picture. Bring your brand to life. Let's go ahead and delete that too. An optional button. Let's delete that. We're going to go ahead and update this with the buttons shortly. But first, let's go ahead and select an image. So you remember, guys, when I told you that you guys need to separate your images. You remember this. I mentioned this in my part 1. Make sure that you have your homepage images pre-organized and set up, as well as your product images. So these homepage images that I've selected are not going to be the same from the Luxe at Paris. With all due respect of the theme developer who created this demo, didn't want to grab his pictures or anything like that. So we're going to use our own, which is okay because it's part of the demo. It's part of training. So right here, so we have some pictures, some stock images from Adobe. And as you can see right here, these are like really, really high intensity shots. Look at the dimensions. They're taken from a Nikon, and it's wow. It's a very, very high quality image, as you can see right here. So there's picture planning. So if we're talking about the main banner, picture planning is very important. There's many images that, although look very high resolution, very clear, very colorful, we have to keep remembering that we have to use it for a certain reason. So for a picture like this, you see that the focal point is the girl in the center. You have to remember that if you're going to use a picture like this, you're going to have to make sure that the sides are clear, right? And in this case, not only does it have multicolors, as you can see here, but it's opaque in some way, or it's very blurry. And this is important because the text is going to sit here, or it's going to sit here towards the left or to the right, because your object is in the middle. The last thing you want to do is put text interface somewhere in the middle. That's something that just wouldn't look right. So instead, get a picture that's either going to give you some space on the left, on the right, or instead of a picture with a person in the dead center, have them like over here, a picture where they're kind of like posted on the side so that you have all this space to put your text. But we have this image here, main banner, okay, and it's very huge. It weighs a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and manipulate this in Photoshop. Again, as I mentioned in part 1, go ahead and look for something that's free that'll allow you to do this manipulation. So we're going to go right here with this picture on Photoshop. So for those who have Photoshop, you just continue following me here. Very simple, nothing crazy. What we're going to do is unlock this picture. See how it has a lock right there? Double click on that and press OK. And then unlocks that feature there. And let's go to where it says image size, and let's change the height without unlinking this. Make sure you don't unlink this, and make sure that we're set to preserve details on enlargement. Okay, so right here we're just going to change the width. We're going to change the width to 2880. Okay, and whatever the height is going to be, just leave it as is and press OK. And once you do that, let's go right here to where it says File, Export, Quick PNG. Let's just export that out very quickly. And we're going to save this on the desktop as main banner, main banner final. Okay. I'm going to put that there and export it into the desktop. Now back over here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this area here. So again, I'm inside of, just in case if you didn't see me before, inside of header. And then from here, we're going to go, not header, slideshow. Slideshow, this first slide right here, we're going to click on image. We're going to upload that image that we saved on the desktop, first banner, final, or main banner, final. And we're going to notice that the picture really focuses not end to end, but it focuses on a specific portion of the canvas. And it might feel like it's zoomed in just a little bit. So as you can see right here, we don't see the entire picture for 2 reasons. Let me go ahead and press select and then press save so that we could keep our spot right there. But remember, we're on customization mode, meaning that the screen is almost at a tablet mode, right? So let's see how it kind of looks like when we spread this out into full screen. And full screen, you'll notice that, her hat is all captured and all that stuff. So once you compare it to the real picture, you'll notice the difference. Wow, we really can't see like the bottom end of her dress, and we really cannot see the top of the carousel, which is fine. I mean, it's no big deal, but just take that into consideration that the theme will have some type of focus or zoom in per se, and this is how it might be. But it's not over yet. Let's continue on into the desktop. We made sure that we saved there, and let's just back out one bit. And right here, as you can see, the desktop height is preset to 650px. If I go over here and I say, all right, let's increase this to 750, then you'll notice that we've gained a little bit of more real estate on the height for this section, which then again, if we practice this, you'll notice that this seems to be more presentable. Okay. So that's how you do that. I suggest you just play around with the pictures and see how that works for you. You could also see how the mobile kind of looks like. By default, you'll notice that Shopify will do something to it. But if you're not comfortable with this, then I recommend you guys to check out, when it comes to the images. In fact, the theme developer, I suggest him that on the images right here, if he just puts a link right there, that if you're confused with the image dimension, he has an FAQ section that talks about images. I strongly recommend him to put something here about the images. Okay, so let's just get back to business, right? And again, if you have a mobile image, you could upload it right there and view the do the dimension thing like I mentioned. All right, so for us, we're not going to go ahead and do the slider, but you can if you want to. And you could go ahead and control as to how many seconds until the next slideshow hits. And if you want it so that if it auto changes a slide, if you want them to manually do so. In our case, we're going to go to slider number 2, and we're going to go and click on this where it says remove the 2-line slide title. We're going to remove that, and it's just going to be one slider. So we're going to, it's almost just one frame. So that just eliminates the whole sliding feature. Let's go inside of the slider component and let's put some text. So right here it says spring style, right, as the header. So right here, subheading, we're going to leave that blank. Let's see. Spring, right? And then I'm press enter on my keyboard, style, period, because I think that's what they had going on, spring style, okay? And so the text alignment is in the center. Again, I do not want that because it takes away from the presentation. So right here where it says text alignment, rather than center, let's see if I could move this over to the center left. So we have that over here. So it's still centered, but it's centered left. Let's continue. Fresh looks for sunny days. So fresh looks for sunny days. Let's see here. Right? So this text in reality should be called subtext. Let's see here. Fresh looks for sunny days. Yeah. So this is a header rather than a heading, right? This is a header, okay? And this text is not really text. This is a subtext because that's what this is. This is a header and this is a subtext, okay? And then we have two cool buttons that we could use. We don't have to use both of them. We could just use one. But for examples of this training, I'm going to go ahead with two of them here. Okay. So the first one that we're going to demo out, or let's see, what do we have here? We have shop tops or shop all. So let's go ahead and program that. So the first one is shop tops. So let's click on this one for the first one, side link. Side link 2. So again, as a suggestion, if the owner or the developers from Archetype, if you're watching this, I would suggest renaming this because people can definitely get confused as to what these things mean. Slide link is in reality button number 1. So button number 1 destination, I would suggest. So let's go right here, button number 1. We're going to go to collections. Okay, and let's see, tops. I'm going to type in tops. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so just tops. I'm just going to type in tops. Okay, and that's the collection that upon click, that's where it's going to go to. So what are we going to label the button? Like, what is the button going to be called? And I'm going to type in shop tops right there. And you'll notice that hopefully the first button will appear just like how you see here. But the button is kind of like transparent, right? You see how that's kind of transparent there and it has a frame. You guys might like that, but if you don't, we'll change that in a second. Let's program the second one. The second one is shop all. So we're going to go right here to where it says products. And from products, we're going to click on all products. You know, we haven't created a collection that's called all products. You don't have to, you just do exactly that. And right here, we're going to say shop all. We're going to type in shop all, and that's where the button should appear. Notice how I click away after I click on the text. After I've typed this, I click away so that the button could show up, right? Let's save our spot right there. I'm going to press save. We always want to save our placement because you never know. The internet could go down or something. I don't know. And on the buttons, let's make these very similar towards how they have them over here. So right here where it says buttons, by default, we have something transparent. We're going to click on all black, right? And then just kind of like click away so that we could see that how that looks like there, right? So I like how when you hover over it gives that little swoosh type of thing. You guys notice that? That's actually pretty nice. Pretty nice little detail. And press save. So we have 2 buttons with 2 destinations. I like that. You're not obligated to use both buttons, but that's just something that, you should program it as what's your, focal point, or what is your focal point, right? What are you trying to get people to shop at? Maybe you have a spring sale. So take them to all that's related to spring, or to go through your entire collection, however you see fit, right? Okay, so we have that ready, and pattern number 1 is officially completed for this. Let's proceed with the other section.